Now here's one that should make you laugh a bit. It shows how police really don't see themselves as hated and is an example of the public getting payback. Sussex Police Constable PC Alex Pead has been sacked after he was blackmailed by a woman who, whilst in the act of carrying out a sexual routine on a video call, was recorded by the woman, who then made Pede pay her money in an attempt to prevent her from sharing the video. Pede was on a so-called training day at home and logged on to Discord, where he engaged with the woman and carried out the sexual act. The woman appears to have been a complete stranger to him, which makes this even more funnier. And apparently at the time, she didn't know he was in the police, although I find that hard to believe that a cop wouldn't want to boast about that fact, as they seem to think it makes them somehow more appealing. 27-year-old Pede is said to have paid the woman £1,100 and then the following day reported the incident to his sergeant, although it does appear that he was dishonest in his accounts of what actually happened in the reports that he wrote about the incident. Pede was investigated by professional standards due to his potential breaches of professional standards, and this week he appeared before a misconduct panel. The incident occurred on July 18th, 2022. It said that he had just completed 9 hours of learning. After he had finished his learning, he obviously felt a little bit stressed and needed some light relief. Although his learning was completed at 5 p.m. on that day, his shift for the day began at 3 p.m, so he was effectively on duty at the time. By the way, he was doing his learning because he had only been in the force for a few months. Alsa Williamson, counsel for PC Pede at the misconduct hearing, said in his mind he felt he had completed the work and regarded himself as off duty. He then engaged in the masturbation. At the time the lies occurred, the officer himself was a victim of a criminal offence and in circumstances that were deeply embarrassing to him. It happened about 12 hours before he made the report. 12 hours after he had been a victim of blackmail, was panicking by being threatened by one or more persons, and had not slept. He is someone who, as a member of the public, is regarded as being vulnerable. Officers must always be aware that members of the public who are victims of crime are going through a difficult time and are vulnerable. That is something that does impact on the assessment of culpability and seriousness. Now, it turns out that Pede lied in an online report that he made, and he lied to his sergeant saying that his phone was hacked and that the video was for his wife, but this was obviously determined to be untrue. A cop who lies. Who'd have thunk it? Alsa Williams added, the harm here is the reputational harm to Sussex Police that one of their young officers has lied in a report and to a sergeant. In this case, there is no harm to individuals and there is no harm to the community. The harm is simply to public confidence in the police service. The public, knowing the full circumstances of the full conduct, would have sympathy with the position he found himself in. Really? I mean, who here watching this has any sympathy for Alex Pead? Please let me know in the comments. Pede said he wanted to deeply apologise for this costly mistake and said the incident had haunted him. He added, I feel I have more to offer this organisation. I want to become a useful individual for this organisation. I joined this organisation not only to help the public, but to work as a team and help my colleagues progress. If you were to give me a second chance, I can assure you this will not happen again. This job is what I want to do for a long time. I am now deeply embarrassed in myself. I'm not a bad person. I just made a really stupid mistake. If you give me a second chance, I would work hard to gain the public's trust again. Has that changed your mind about him? Do you feel sorry for him now? I don't, just as I don't feel sorry for anyone who does this. Even if I sent a naughty video to somebody, I wouldn't expect anybody to feel sorry for me if it got out. It would have been a conscious choice, my own decision and a situation entirely of my own doing. And it seems the panel felt the same way as they decided that Pede's actions not only amounted to misconduct, but actually reached the threshold of gross misconduct and, rather than give him a written warning, which, in fairness, they could have done, they dismissed him, with Pede reportedly holding his head in his hands as they read out the ruling. That is not a pun, by the way. Now, to be fair, I think this is the right move. If he has a wife and decided to choke his chicken online to a complete stranger, then he is clearly incapable of making rational decisions. And I, for one, am glad that...
Another one bites the dust.